day and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News Updates at 12. I am Liberates Manjuan and now the news in details. A fire outbreak has destroyed goods worth millions of naira in one of the shops at the popular urban market in Benin City. BeeTv News Freeman Asawe, who was at the scene, reports that the fire was said to have started at night in one of the shops. The report.
That was the mood at the urban market this morning as crowds of onlookers besieged the scene of the fire incident to have a glimpse of the wreckage caused by the fire. The affected shop was in the shadow of itself as goods such as body wears, shoes, bags, and more were consumed by the inferno. The shop owner, Christian Igwe, was not on ground at the time the news crew arrived. The sister to the shop owner, Blessing, who was engrossed in deep sorrow, expressed her frustration on what could have led to the fire incident as she was called upon to be informed of the tragedy, saying that the goods destroyed by the fire were new arrivals, appealing to the government and well-meaning citizens to come to their rescue.
My brother get this trouble.
The fire started and wondered what could have triggered the inferno, which according to him is suspectedly orchestrated.
The same market is born, He said, which market? Is it in the market we came yesterday? You came to me and say yes. So I dropped and I called people and they confirmed to me that the market was on fire. So I quickly made calls to call others. They said, which location? And they told me that at the back of Yeki, opposite Ibiwe. So I called somebody else who later confirmed to me, a neighbor, and said, yes, sir, Pastor, the market is born in a bucket.
Our mothers, our sisters, and this is what they use to support their children at home. When we heard of the incident yesterday night, we all rushed down here, called the fire service, called the police, and they were all on time. And that was what rescued the situation. But luckily for us, it was only one shop that was burnt. Of the situation, and the fire was put off. And I want to thank the traders.
Jerusalem today, and if it formally approves the deal, a ceasefire will go into effect. The US says all the remaining Israeli hostages will be released on Monday. Here's a timeline of possible next step. Hamas confirms the deal, but a Palestinian source tells the BBC it has not yet received the final list of prisoners that Israel plans to release in exchange. This is a significant moment, but there is no guarantee that a peace deal for Gaza will happen, as crucial details still need to be worked out, writes Ugo Bachega. Palestinians in Gaza and hostage families in Israel have been celebrating the breakthrough, which came after intense negotiations in Egypt. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls the agreement a great day for his country, while UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says it is a moment of profound relief that will be felt around the world. In a statement, it thanked Israeli troops and US President Donald Trump and his team for their mobilization for the sacred mission of releasing their hostages, referring to the Israelis currently held by Hamas in Gaza. It later told Fox News that Gaza will be rebuilt after facing similar attacks that had caused blackout and structural damage in Belgorod city and surrounding areas. Videos verified by BBC Verified shows explosions and fires near a local power station late on Tuesday. Nearly 40,000 residents were affected by power cuts across 7 municipalities, according to Glakov. Ukraine has dramatically increased the number of attacks launched against Russian oil refineries in recent months, sparking fuel shortages and price rises in some parts of the country, the BBC has found. At least 21 of Russia's 38 major refineries where crude oil is converted into usable fuel like petrol and diesel have been hit since January, almost half again as many as during the whole of 2024. The strikes have contributed to fuel shortages and rising prices across several Russian regions. Soher Osebeki reporting for BeeTv News.
China has tightened its rules on the export of rare earths, the elements that are crucial to the manufacture of many high-tech products. New regulations announced by the country's Ministry of Commerce to safeguard national security formalize existing rules on processing technology and unauthorized overseas corporations. China is also likely to block export
Reports indicate that Myanmar military has intensified its area bombing campaign against opposition strongholds in recent months. The offensive is seen as part of efforts to tighten the junta's grip ahead of a planned election in December. Since seizing power in 2021, the army's actions have left thousands dead and millions displaced, fueling a brutal civil war with pro-democracy groups and ethnic militants. Eyewitnesses say the paraglider dropped several bombs on a crowd of villagers during a Buddhist festival, causing massive casualties. Analysts added that Myanmar's military is now relying on advanced drone and paraglider technology from China and Russia, while Beijing's continued military and diplomatic back has further strengthened the junta's hand in the ongoing conflict. Faith Ojo reporting for BeeTv News.
At least 24 people have been killed and several injured following a military airstrike on a village northwestern Myanmar's Sagajin region. The assault, which occurred on Monday evening, involved a motorized paraglider that dropped explosive on residents gathered for candlelight vigil.
Reports indicate that Myanmar military has intensified its area bombing campaign against opposition strongholds in recent months. The offensive is seen as part of efforts to tighten the junta's grip ahead of a planned election in December. Since seizing power in 2021, the army's actions have left thousands dead and millions displaced, fueling a brutal civil war with pro-democracy groups and ethnic militants. Eyewitnesses say the paraglider dropped several bombs on a crowd of villagers during a Buddhist festival, causing massive casualties. Analysts added that Myanmar's military is now relying on advanced drone and paraglider technology from China and Russia, while Beijing's continued military and diplomatic back has further strengthened the junta's hand in the ongoing conflict. Faith Ojo reporting for BeeTv News.
President Bola Tinubu has formally requested the National Assembly's approval for a new external loan totaling 2.3 billion naira. According to the communication sent to the Senate, the funds will be used to support the implementation of the 2025 Appropriation Act and to refinance Euro bonds set to mature in November next year. The request also outlines plans for Nigeria to issue its first standalone sovereign sukuk valued up at to 500 million euros in the international capital market. The report.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is asking the Senate for approval to raise fresh external capital of about $2.3 billion to plot the 2025 budget deficit and refinance maturing debt. In a letter read at plenary, the President invoked Section 21 and 27 of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act, seeking legislative resolutions to implement new external borrowings already captured in the 2025 Appropriation Act.
Plans of Eurobonds, loan syndications, bridge finance facility from book runners, and direct borrowing from international financial institutions.
The proposal also introduces a debut stand-alone sovereign sukuk up to 500 million euros aimed at tapping Islamic finance investors with or without credit enhancement guarantees. In another development, the Senate has directed its Defense, Police Affairs and National Security Committees to invite top security chiefs to brief lawmakers on a coordinated response in mitigating the country's security challenges. The Senate raised alarm over escalating insecurity in Kwara South Senatorial District, calling for immediate and comprehensive federal intervention.
Recognizes that sustaining security on Kwara South, if not urgently addressed, may spread to other parts of North Central states and Southwest political zones, thereby threatening national stability.
The trajectory of the movement of insecurity in this country if not nipped in the bud, has the potential of consuming the whole country.
The Senate has also directed its committee to carry out an on-the-spot assessment and report within 2 weeks. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
An agreement is being pursued regarding the welfare and working conditions of education sector workers. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's directive that students must remain in school as discussion continues. The report.
At this press briefing, the Minister of Education, Maruf Alausa, said Tinubu's administration is determined to end the circle of strikes that has disrupted academic calendars for years.
That same committee will negotiate with academic and non-academic unions so that they can have a full breadth of what their needs are. And I can tell you today, I've seen all the requests from all these unions at the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. 80% of those requests are about the same. Though the 20% of the requests are based on peculiar needs.
The minister disclosed that the government's technical working group is finalizing a counter-offer to the Academic Staff Union of Universities and other tertiary unions. The proposal will be submitted to the Yayali Ahmed Expansion Negotiation Committee for harmonization. He explained that progress has been made with 50 billion naira released for areas and allowances, 150 billion naira budgeted for the Needs Assessments Fund to be dispersed this year. The minister also noted that involving the Solicitor General in the process will ensure all agreements are legally binding and enforceable.
The end academic allowance has been paid. The government president released 50 billion. That's been paid months ago. Even the needs assessment that tertiary institutions have been fighting for almost 15 years. President put 150 billion naira in this 2025 budget, and he promised us that they will release it in tranches of 50 billion, in tranches of 3 tranches. We have the 50 billion now waiting. So this president is meeting all the commitments, all the promises to the unions. Your promotion areas, the issues have been resolved. We've spoken to the DG budget. Issues have been resolved. By next year, in 2026, all areas will be paid.
With negotiation nearing conclusion, the government says it expects the Yayali Ahmed Committee's final report soon, a move that could signal a new era of stability across Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Mohammed Zainab reporting for BeeTv News.
The federal government of Nigeria has permanently halted all deductions related to the cost of revenue collection by agencies such as the Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, the Nigeria Customs Services, NCS, and the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC. Let's join BeeTv News Temitope Oluwafemi for details and more from Business World.
This reform, initiated by a presidential directive and announced by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, aims to enhance fiscal transparency and efficiency. Previously, revenue collecting agencies retained a percentage of collected funds as administrative costs before transferring the balance to the federal account. Under the revised policy, all gross revenues are to be fully remitted into the federation account without pre-distribution deductions. This measure ensures that the federal, state, and local governments receive a larger share of distributable revenue during the monthly Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC) disbursements. The reform also extends to other deductions such as refunds and intervention funds. A comprehensive review is on the way to standardize and eliminate arbitrary deductions, thereby promoting transparency, improving fiscal governance, and ensuring efficient use of national resources. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has reported that international electricity customers, including Benin and Togo, failed to pay over 48% of their electricity bills in the second quarter of 2025. According to NERC Quarter 2 report, 6 international bilateral customers were invoiced $17.58 million by the market operator for electricity supply by Nigerian generation companies. However, only $9.1 million was remitted, resulting in an outstanding balance of $8.58 million. This represents a remittance per Nice D Energy Electric, Togo's campaign Energy Electric D Togo, and Nigeria's NIGELEC were among the principal international clients. Additionally, one domestic bilateral customer, Trans Amadi OAU/FMPI, made a partial payment of 10.58 million naira for previous outstanding invoices during the quarter. The persistent shortfall in remittances continues to weaken the financial liquidity of the Nigeria electricity supply industry, NESI, undermining the sustainability of grid operations and the financial stability of generation companies and market operators. The federal government of Nigeria is intensifying peace talks with Ogoni leaders to address long-standing disputes that have hindered oil production in the region. This development comes amid projections from the International Energy Agency indicating that global upstream oil investments must reach $540 billion annually over the next 25 years to meet energy demands. At the commissioning of the Otakikpo crude oil export terminal in Rivers State, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Heniki Lokobiri, reaffirmed the government's commitment to reactivating dormant oil fields in Ogoni land. The newly commissioned Otakikpo terminal, located in Ikuru town, Adoni local government, were developed by Green Energy International Limited at a cost exceeding $400 million. It is the first indigenous-built terminal in over 50 years and is expected to boost Nigeria's crude evacuation capacity and upstream output. President Tinubu emphasized the need for continued investment in the oil and gas sector and called on host communities to cooperate with government and investors to ensure stable operations. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
You're still watching BeeTv News Update at 12, where we go on a short break. To stay with us.
My people of Edo State, development is not a miracle. It is the result of responsibility and action. Do you want good roads, quality hospitals, schools, jobs for our youth? Then you must understand this simple truth. Government cannot perform without your tax. Government will fix schools, build roads, light up communities if the people pay their tax. That's how governance works. It is not about politics. It is about progress. When you pay your tax, you are not helping the government. You are helping yourself. You are helping your family and your future. Don't wait to be chased. Do the right thing. Be part of building the new Edo State. Pay your tax with pride. Let us build Edo together. This message is brought to you by Edo State Internal Revenue Service, EIRS, administering revenue for service and development.
In the heart of Benin City, where heritage meets the horizon of tomorrow, a celebration of truth, courage, and vision takes center stage. BeeTv News, bold in boards, fearless in purpose, proudly marks 2 remarkable years of journalism that shapes the nation. On Saturday, October 18, 2025, at the iconic Victor Owaifo Creative Hub, Airport Road, Benin City, the nation gathers to reflect on a defining theme: Nigeria's future, bleak or bright, the role of the media. Leading this historic conversation, the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpeholo, and his deputy, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Mother of the Day, Mrs. Edesili Okpeholo Anani, Coordinator Office of the First Lady, Edo State. Father of the Day, Chief Dan Osi Obi, National Vice Chairman, South of the People's Democratic Party. Illuminating the team as guest speaker, scholar and statesman, Professor Eddie Eragbe, Professor of History and International Studies, UNIBEN. And in a moment of history, the BeeTv News Icon of the Year Award will be presented to His Excellency Senator Comrade Adams Aliu Eric Oshomole. And with vision for the future, BeeTv News unveils the BeeTv Foundation, a legacy of service, empowerment, and change, to be launched by Honorable Godwin Okodua, Managing Director Club Ray, and supported by Honorable Sylvester Igbobo, Deputy State Chairman APC, Chief Host Right Honorable Dr. Omoroge Ogbede Ihama, Executive Director Corporate Services, Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited. BeeTv News 2nd anniversary, Saturday, October 18th, time 3 p.m. at the Victor Owaifo Creative Hub, Benin City. Signed, Miss Best Orator, Managing Director, BeeTv News.
Moving on to entertainment news. Nollywood actress Sarah Martins have addressed a social media troll who attributed her recent success to her Brazilian butt-lift BBL procedure following the unveiling of her new Lexus SUV. Also, former non-married ex-seminarian after bonding over prayer. Let's join BeeTv News Evelyn Izibili for details and more from Entertainment World.
Martins had shared images of her newly acquired vehicle on her Instagram page, highlighting her progress within 12 months of relocating to Lagos. In response to the celebration, a troll commented implying that her physical enhancement was the source of her achievement. In a rebuttal, Martins emphasized that her financial and career success stems from legitimate business ventures. She disclosed ownership of 7 registered brands and multiple real estate properties valued significantly higher than the newly acquired car. Additionally, she stated that she independently funds a monthly street charity cookouts with a minimum budget of 1.5 million naira. She refuted any suggestions that her success was derived from physical appearance or external assistance, asserting that her accomplishments are the result of sustained efforts and business income. Nigerian musician Slim Case has expressed concern over the frequency of music releases within the Afrobeat genre, describing the current trend as excessive and creatively exhausting. In a message shared via his Instagram story, Slim Case stated that the consistent release of singles and albums by multiple Afrobeat artists throughout the year is contributing to a decline in listener engagement and genre freshness. He advised artists to reduce the pace of their releases and diversify their creative ventures, citing international acts like Rihanna's as example of artists who balance music with other endeavors. According to him, reducing output could help restore excitement and innovation within the genre. Slim Case concluded that while new content is important, oversaturation may be harming the long-term appeal and uniqueness of the Afrobeat sound. Veteran Nollywood actor Dele Odule has revealed that recent emotional distress expressed in his Instagram post was caused by a romantic breakup with a 200-level university student. The disclosure was made during a live interview session with content creator Camel State, who inquired about a series of cryptic and emotional child posts made by the actor. Odule confirmed that the posts were connected to a personal heartbreak which he experienced after being left by the younger partner. While he did not name the individual or disclose the institution involved, his public statement has sparked widespread discussion and speculations about the nature of the relationship and its implication. The actor's post reflects themes of betrayal, emotional pain, and self-worth, suggesting a period of deep personal reflection. The actor's post reflects themes of betrayal, emotional pain, and self-worth, suggesting a period of deep personal reflection. There has been no official confirmation on whether the incident was part of a publicity stunt or a genuine personal experience. A former Catholic nun, Leas Nini, has married Jackson Dog Nini, a former seminarian, following a relationship that began through shared prayer and spiritual support. The couple met over 6 years ago while serving in missionaries, but had limited interaction at the time. Leas had joined a Carmelite convent where she spent 2 years in religious life, while Jackson was in seminary training for the Catholic priesthood for 5 years. After leaving the convent to focus on mental health recovery, Leas reconnected with Jackson, who offered spiritual support during her battle with depression. Their interaction developed in a close friendship, eventually evolving into a romantic relationship. Jackson subsequently left the seminary after personal reflection, and the couple began dating in April 2024. They got engaged in October 2024 and were married in March 2025. The marriage was kept private until they made the public announcement via social media on October 7, 2025. The couple stated that their decision was made after mature consideration of their life paths and spiritual journeys. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
And lastly, on sport news, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria suffered a 4-0 defeat to their counterparts from Argentina in FIFA U20 World Cup round of 16 clash on Wednesday. The Flying Eagles have not been convincing since their opening group stage match lost against Norway. They bounced back with a thrilling 3-2 victory over Saudi Arabia in their second game, and their third group match ended in a 1-1 draw with Colombia, securing their place in the round of 16 as one of the best third-place teams. However, their journey came to an end against a relentless Argentine side victorious in all games so far at the tournament. Argentina wasted no time taking the lead in the second minute when Alejo Sacco scored, assisted by Dylan Gorosito. And that will be all on our bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Do stay tuned for more updates. I am Lee Britt Manjo, and bye for now.